watching Ayit TV, empowering you.
It is 8th of Feb 2022 and we're back on the Startup Talk. We're counting down days for those who think they are in love and the so-called Valentines. We're counting a few days to that day, and that's when Sumaya will tell you I miss Sankara. That's when some of these days, but we're busy. You can only resume that after 14. There we can be able to talk. But this is the Startup Talk. Sankara Berhanga, I'm also back again this week. I told you every Tuesday 5 p.m. we're here to discuss business and anything close to a startup. In case you know an individual that is really very good in that line in creatives, we usually have this chance to talk about every other thing that will go for startup. Now we are supported by Empower Youth in Technology. I'm about to unveil the next person we are going to be supported by, or the gentleman that we are about to get to partner with. Now this can only show growth. This is to thank you everyone that voted us in the Startup Garage project that was in the Startup of the Year by Total Energies. I hope the results go as you actually people wished. We believe that is going to keep us moving. Having said that, you need to know that why we have this show is because there are a certain class of people that think that the only way to survive is actually owning a business and running one. Such people, most of them are actually entrepreneurs, though not all, of course. Not all, of course. Now, where does the dream start from? Have you ever actually thought that you can run your own business? Is it important anyway? Should you actually think that running a business is the only way to go? And also, for those that are into it, and the dream you're thinking you should be able to get, is it actually a simple ride or rather a bumpy one? That is actually what we are going to discuss today, and that's the reason you need to actually share this link and tell your friends that in the next few minutes we should be able to start this very, very important talk. Now we are going to do this when we return. I usher in my guest today, but certainly he won't be only for today. Let's do this and we're coming back.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Yes, I'm trying on Mugisha. Bueno, if you have any event, it can be a music show, it can be a party, big or small, and you want it live, you can even catch me and my band on Ayit TV. That is on YouTube, Zoom, or Facebook.
Ayit TV, empowering you.
Yes, thank you very much. Welcome back from that short break. That was Shino Mugisha telling you that what Ayit does is actually the best when it comes to live coverage of your events, and we are actually leading when it comes to this region. I don't think you're going to compare us with anyone. We actually mean business when it comes to live broadcast of your event. Now in case you have events in Feb, this is your deal. I promised, and this is the right time, the moment of truth, the time you've actually been waiting for. I need to unveil to you my guest today is another hero from Kigezi. In case you thought Kigezi was a land for only prime ministers, Bank of Governor, and all that, we have other people that come from this region, and we lead all the way. Now, ladies and gentlemen that are watching the Startup Talk this episode, you need to help me, and we welcome Comrade. He deserves the title of doctor, but for now, I will say Comrade Samuel Mugisha. You're very, very welcome. You can say hi to the viewer.
Yeah, nice to meet you, and
Yes.
I'm glad to be here.
Yes.
To share a little bit of what I know.
Yes. Well, I've always told you that the people you see in glasses, you don't need to ask whether they're intelligent or not. That already tells you that. Now, Comrade Sam, the little I know about you is that way back you finished computer engineering at Mbarara University of Science and Technology.
Yep.
Later, you could acquire an MBA from the University of Nicosia.
Nicosia in Cyprus, yeah.
Yes, yes. You didn't stop at that. Your passion for, revamping the whole health sector using ICT, I want to guess. So you go for the University of Manchester in United Kingdom, and you acquired another master's in advanced computer sciences.
Yep.
All about you is computer innovation, because what I also know is that you head the software incubation and innovation unit at Mbarara University of Science and Technology.
Yes.
And also a co-founder and director of innovation at Innovation Streams, the iStreams that we know of today.
Yep.
Quite a lot that we don't know about you. Perhaps we could start from that, by the way. Is there anything that I'm leaving out?
No,
Yes.
yeah, I like to be very, very humble, but yeah, he has talked about my education background. I'm qualified in computer science, data science, and business, really. So that's what I know. Everything I do is about technology and business, really. Technology and business.
And another word, of course, like something like innovation.
Innovation.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I love to create new things. I'm involved with 4 companies actually, which I co-founded. I co-founded Innovation Streams, or iStreams. iStreams gave birth to Streamline, which is another company, Streamline Health Tech. And I also lead Tattoo Nurse, which is a non-for-profit that I also run, and lately the Climbers, which is also on a mission to train the smartest entrepreneurs on the planet. So that's what I do, really, among many other things.
Wow. From every other thing that he does and what he talked about, when I saw a communication about the Climbers and that he's going to be training the next big generation of startups and entrepreneurs, I said, oh, my viewers actually need this. Let's start from there. This guy viewing us, could there be something that is coming up that we need to know about with the Climbers?
The Climbers is an initiative that really is just starting, and it's supposed to, like I said, train the smartest entrepreneurs on the continent. And this really stems from my experience over the last 10 years. I've been in the startup industry for the last 10 years. I've been in several tech hubs in Kampala. I was at Outbox for a long time. I've been at Hive. I've been to all these tech hubs. And I've also been blessed to be in some of the top hubs in the world. I was in the London School of Economics aspect program, where I was for 6 months. I have been to the top accelerator Fast Forward for non-for-profits that is hosted in San Francisco. So I have learned so much, really, and with my experience I feel there is more that the entrepreneurs are not being told about.
Yes, sure.
There is more that we could do, really, to help the entrepreneurs who, like me, I started when I was in my second year at university. So I kind of empathize with the entrepreneurial journey. I know what happens to that kind of kid, second year at university, no money, just a big dream. And I hope, really, I'll make a contribution to kind of help these entrepreneurs to especially minimize wastage of time and minimize wastage of money, which is very, very crucial. That's what the Climbers is about. We'll be helping entrepreneurs, we'll run boot camps, we'll run programs really aimed at making you minimize wastage of money and time, which is very, very key.
Especially to university students.
Yep.
Time and money. Yeah, very easy to spend while at the university.
Yep.
So thank you very much. Now, with that regard, the gentleman here, Mr. Samuel Mugisha, has offered himself actually to keep talking to you, you who is watching, at least for this period that we should be able to be running. So this here that you're watching is our first episode where we shall be actually featuring him, and trust me, like I said, he has vast knowledge in this, and from where you start dreaming of I want to be an entrepreneur, like the student he's talking about, to stepping out and start testing the waters of entrepreneurship, to when you actually let it out and you're starting to market it, to the management of it to make sure it keeps running. I mean, every other step that one we need actually to follow to push for their dream of entrepreneurship, the gentleman is going to be available to train and also advise. So some episodes we are going to be getting an innovator. It could be you're facing a challenge in your business. We should be able to host you here. You share the challenge and he should be able to guide. Now we will also be featuring other mentors. Alongside him. We have our own Tushabe, for example, Ronald. We have a number of mentors around town that we should be able to host together, at least to interact with them. And at the end of the day, the Startup Talk is actually going to become the Startup Talk, I am telling you. So, Comrade Sam, we are going to do this short break. When we return, we should be able to switch to our first focus for this day. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Bagala nyo kugenda mungulu na yete bagala kufa bantu bafu. Bagala nyo kugagawala na yete bagala kutuyana. Bagala nyo kugenda mungulu na yete bagala kufa bantu bafu. Bagala nyo kugagawala na yete bagala kutuyana.
Yes, Bobby wine for you. Bagala nyo kugenda muguru na yete bagala kufa. So we always dream about this, and if you watch that song, then you need to be sure that well, the gentleman at least has some other good side of it. But that's not for today. The whole instance of that song was we all dream. Actually, I have met several people saying, anyway, I'm working for my heaven, especially my comrades that are very, very religious. That's the dream, but we know the one way to go there is actually to die, and who is willing to die. Now it's the same way we dream about owning my own business, a successful one. It is going to help me build this beautiful house, and I'm going to really have all these fancy whatevers because Mark Zuckerberg has done it, so and so has done it. That very dream. Now, in case you fall in the category of I have ever dreamt of running my own business and become an entrepreneur of my own, this episode is for you. Will you die fast to get there, or it's actually some smooth way? Now I understand that below your name one cannot miss to capture social tech entrepreneur.
Yep.
Of course, it has really three words: the social, the tech. But this episode really, you're interested in the word entrepreneurship. We have seen several definitions. Several of them, of course, are really theoretical, that we've really studied in classes. But you, as a person that has actually gone through a lot of this, ecosystem, do you have your own definition of entrepreneurship?
Yep. Yeah, the common definition really comes from the French word entrepreneurial. I don't know French, but there is a French word where this word actually comes from, and it means someone who assumes or takes a risk for a business. Someone who spots an opportunity and takes the responsibility to assume risk, mobilizes the resources necessary to take on this venture and actually starts a business. So that's what really an entrepreneur is. You see an opportunity and then they add the element of risk, which means it's not easy to solve the opportunity, and it needs resources and time and people, all these things to make this opportunity happen, and you mobilize all of this and then provide a solution to the community.
And someone is going to pay for it, for example.
Pay for it. And there are those who do it for pay. They are basically two, for profit and for impact.
Yes,
I'm glad I'm both. There are those who do this for pay, and there are those who do it especially for impact. So you can design it for profit or design it for impact.
Then there comes the social kind of involvement. Is it now the impact?
That's the impact bit. Okay. So what Jack Ma said, actually, he said, if you want to be an entrepreneur in this era, you're going to solve a social problem. That's a quote I'm paraphrasing from Jack Ma. But you realize that our society is full of Me Too businesses. Me Too businesses. They sell radios. I'll sell radios. They sell mobile money. I'll also be a mobile money agent. So there is very little innovation, and in Africa here, because we are still a developing country, there is actually so many social problems that if you solve, then the rewards are big.
Okay.
That's the whole idea.
Well, from this we capture his the most said word keeps rotating around problem, and another percentage of course comes with solution. So one would actually quickly zero down to the two, and he says if you get those two right, then perhaps your journey in entrepreneurship perhaps could be open. But that's just a thought really that one could actually have. I understand that of course we are going to get to the balancing of the life of an entrepreneur, but before that, is it really important that I should think about starting my own business?
Why start your own business? Well, for me, I thought I didn't know whether I was going to start a business or not, but I thought that having control of your life or having control of your finances is very, very important. And I saw this firsthand. My dad, whom I love so much, was an employee of an organization for a long time, and trust me, he was the most committed person I know about. He would wake up every day, do one single job, given it 100% for almost 24 years. So there I was sometime in vacation, in senior 4 vacation, and he comes in, and they had given him a letter that his job was going to be over. This is a job he has done for 20 plus years, and he is a letter that his job was going to get over, and they gave him notice, gave him a year. So I was in senior 4, I was at Chigeze High School, and then he decided I would go to entire school. He had some savings that he could use, and maybe I could go to government scholarship and join in like that. So I joined entire school. I didn't make it for government sponsorship, and those 2 years were really, really very hard because the job, he was laid off, and there was no money for a while. So there I was in senior 6 vacation when results came, and I didn't perform as expected, and I knew that government scholarship was very hard. Here I am, and my education is in balance. So for me, watching this as a very young person, seeing that really jobs are not royal, seeing that you can commit all your life to something and then they drop you, I thought then that I would do everything possible to control my finances, that no one was going to really decide how much I make, how I make it. That's what I decided. And when I came to university at Must as a student of computer engineering, I immediately started to look out for opportunities to make some money. We used to repair computers, we used to design websites, and true, by the end of 4th year we had the company registered and we've been doing business since. So there are several reasons why people really do entrepreneurship. And I know you said being your own boss is one of the reasons. Having that independence is very, very important for very many people in a country where 80% unemployment. Right. You begin to think that maybe entrepreneurship is the only route you have to survive. But not only that, you know that entrepreneurs really are the ones that change the world. The beauty about entrepreneurship is that you can create things and those things can actually change the world. So that's a very other big dimension why someone thinks about being an entrepreneur. If I can spot a problem and contribute to it, I can change the world, and that's the other big incentive. So yeah, so that's why people start. For them, for some people it's last choice. I don't have an option, I have to survive. Others it's I want to be independent. Others it's I want to make a change. Whatever reason it is, entrepreneurship is very, very important to any country.
So Uganda, I believe a few years ago, I think that must have been 2017, getting ranked as the most entrepreneurial nation. Of course, that didn't last for so long because later we were told, again, you lead in the most failing, startups. Let's first concentrate on the first statement. What would make Uganda the most entrepreneurial nation?
Uganda is the most entrepreneurial nation because we know that at least 70% of all adults, by the time they are 35, have tried out a business. That's also a start. At least 70% of anyone above 35 has tried out a venture here and there, has tried to start a business. So we are a very entrepreneurial country, and this is of course because it's easy to start a business here in Uganda. You can start with any capital, you can start anything, so it's very, very easy. But again, like you said, the failure rate is so high.
So the compelling of you must start a business, is it linked to what you explained a few minutes ago, that now really where I am, this is my only choice, I have to?
Yeah, you have to know that we have very little jobs. As a country and as a continent, we missed out on industrialization. We missed out on the industrial revolution that Britain led. We have this tech revolution that is happening, that America is leading, and we are still not pioneers. So we have very few industries that could create jobs. We have we are a low-income country. Even if you have a job, the money that you're paid is really very low, and that's why most people think, well, let me try to start something. Even those who have jobs have side ventures, side hustles. So it's really a survival thing. Most people are trying to supplement their income, to trying to survive, and that's why everyone tries to start something.
Okay. Wow, talking about side hustles, talking about all these reasons that one would actually consider. I mean, one would actually think, anyway, now I have no choice but to start a business. Or there are those that genuinely feel within me, I need really to start this business. What's the picture like? Is it actually, well, you said it's easy to start. I don't know how easy it is, and you could talk to me who is watching. I have had this dream for some time. Are there is there a known formula of me starting to get entrepreneur side?
Yeah, so for most people, they get this business idea, and a dream is something that is like falling in love, really. You want to sleep, it keeps coming to you. You want to do something. If you have a business idea, what I know with most entrepreneurs, the ideas that you get in your mind, which I also believe are God-given, they stick with you and they eat you up. There are many people I have met who tell me, I've been thinking about this business idea for 5 years.
Yes.
I meet so many people telling me, I have thought about this for 10 years. Though sometimes they have nothing to show, but they have been in love with this idea for a very, very long time. So yeah, so there is this group of people who think a lot about the idea. They are trying to gather the capital, it's not coming through, and they are maybe stuck in a job, but they really have this idea that's eating them up, and they are still really trying to find ways of getting it done. Then there are those who just jump in, like how we jumped in at second year at university. We start a company and we just jump in, and that's the beauty about young people. Young people are very I could say they like take risks. Young people can jump in without thinking a lot about
Perhaps
it.
they don't have a lot to lose.
Absolutely, they don't have a lot to lose. So it's easier when you're still very, very young. As you grow up, then you begin to put very many barriers on yourself, and you don't know how to start. So starting is not easy, as I said. I mean, it's easy in terms of what you need, because I see people who are very small capital. You can 1 million, you open up a shop, and you see very many people starting with different types of capital. The capital is not so much sometimes, which is a problem. And then there are very many who again are in love with these ideas, who haven't started and who need help to get started. Yeah.
So what would be the ideal way to start? Your engagements, yes.
The ideal way to start. The ideal way to start is to start really. The ideal way. Yes. You have to start from the beginning. Start with what you have and get it going. Use what you have. I think the ideal is you use whatever you have, whatever resources are available to you. That's the friendships, those are resources, the little capital you can come across. That's what you start with really. Because of the failure rate is so high. 90% of the businesses don't see their 5th birthday, and all researches point to two factors really. The top two, there are several reasons that are advanced, but the top two are lack of market need. People start businesses and those businesses don't have a market. You get, because most people actually start Me Too businesses. They are doing it, let me also do it.
Yes.
So lack of market is a very, very big problem. And the other one is really running out of cash, running out of capital. Those are two main reasons why businesses really fail. But after doing this for a long time, I believe that there should be some work in building competence to be an entrepreneur. You need to know what it needs to be an entrepreneur and gain the skills that you need to approach this venture. That's what I think is one of the things that are lacking. So generally, Scott put out a formula and said that results are equal to attitude plus competence plus execution. So he talks about three very important things. You want good results in business, yes. You have to have a very good attitude, and the attitude is this attitude of it's possible, the attitude of an entrepreneur, of taking the risk, the attitude of believing in yourself, the attitude of I can do it, the attitude of let me have a go at it. That's a good attitude. You have to have this top level attitude. You can't be an entrepreneur and you have a low attitude. You can't be an entrepreneur and you need encouragement. That's what we know. Elon Musk said, if you need encouragement, don't be an entrepreneur. You have to have above the line mentality which believes. Now, apart from attitude, you need to have the competence. The competence are the skills required to really succeed in business. And that's where most of our young people do not understand what they need. And though they have a very good attitude, young people have a very good attitude. They believe everything is possible. Most of the time, not all the time, but I see when I started, I used to believe everything is just very possible. I had a very good attitude, but I didn't know that I was lacking in competence, and later on the execution, how to get things done step by step. So those are the key elements. Those are the key elements. So you see it from, I always use the analogy of Golora, our man.
Yes.
Golora is of course well known in Uganda. He has a very good attitude. Before the game, he's proclaiming, I'm going to beat someone, they'll turn from brown to black. He's very good attitude. Above the line, has a very good attitude. But you see that when we get into the boxing ring, he lacks the competence. The footwork is not good. It is not working very well. And later, the execution is very, very important. You know, execution, the best way to look at it is from war. You know when to attack, you know the timing, you know when to take cover, you know. So execution is very, very important. And knowing when to pull which part of the tools that you have is actually very, very key in this journey as well. Yeah, so that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay, that's what it is. And we are still rolling on with a dream of entrepreneurship. You have that entrepreneur dream. Now there is the stage where I know I want to achieve this. I want to have a business that does this. At least I've tried, and yeah, that is where I am. And what's the role of mentors at this stage? Do I need to engage? Do I need to share this idea with someone? Should I consider you won't make it, and please change here? And I mean, should I hustle on and go and launch my thing, or just start like you said at the level of, yes, this is my entrepreneur dream, I have it, this is it. What do I need to do externally, and of course in terms of capacity building?
Yeah, so when you have an entrepreneur dream, you have this big idea, where do you begin from? That's the question you've been asking. So there are two paths that I'm going to explain using a simple analogy. Let's say you want to start a shoe shop in Mbarara. You like sneakers, you think that there is a very good number of people that like shoes like you do, and you want to start a shoe business in Mbarara. You have two choices. Number one, go and convince whoever you can convince, raise money, maybe 5 million, go buy the shoes from Chikubo or wherever, get some space on one of these buildings, open the shop. That's option number one. Not so. You mobilize whatever money you have, you go open the shop and you open it up, which is what the 90% of the people are doing. They basically go look for money and start and open and begin. We have option number two, which is what every entrepreneur is supposed to be doing, which is running experiments, running cheap experiments before you inject in any single money. So the idea of experiment was actually introduced by Eric Ries in his book, The Lean Startup. He observed millions of businesses that were closing down because they started using approach number one. They invest a lot of money even before they have done any experiments to validate whether the idea works or doesn't work. So before you spend any money, you need to carry out experiments to validate whether there is market need, what the market wants, the location, and all this can be done using very, very cheap experiments. So what we know, instead of using approach number one, you can use approach number two, where you are going to go on your WhatsApp page and get some pictures of the shoes that you think you want to bring and post them. You have a WhatsApp that maybe has 100 friends, post 5 pairs of shoes every day for 7 days, and put the prices and see how many people will place orders. If at the end of the whole week no one has asked you about the shoe, then you need to do another experiment. If at the end of the week 5 people have placed for order of shoes, you know what to do. So you see the experience we are talking about. You run experiments, so you want to test, do people like these shoes? Because you may like them, but they may not like them. So you post them on WhatsApp, you assume you have them, and then you get feedback. You may post them on Facebook. You may create a simple web page if you can. So that's how you start. You haven't spent any money. You assume you have the shoes, and then the market will tell you that we actually love these shoes and etc. How about you go and print brochures and move around with them and show them to different people and say these are the kind of shoes I'm bringing, and ask them which ones they like, so you know which ones to shop before in the first place you shop them and they don't like them and your capital is there and you have to close, of course, after some time. So that's the approach. So the approach is what we call customer validation. Instead of just worrying and spending money and starting your business, you do customer discovery, who are the potential customers, and then you do several experiments to validate those customers. That's the way you should start.
Wow. There is always a formula. There is always that time you need to hear from those that have seen it. Now we're going to have this short break. When we return, we should be able to wrap up this, but this time we're taking you a bit in the future with your dream. There's a lot, of course, that happens there. Thank you very much. We are coming back shortly.
You're watching AYIT TV, empowering you.
Still on AYIT TV, and this is Sankara Byaruhanga. This is the Startup Talk. Today we are hosting, by the way, you didn't tell us. If I call you doctor, will I be wrong?
I'm not a doctor.
First you're innovating
I'm
for
not
health.
a doctor.
Tattoo nurse, all these, the stream, you call it streamline.
Yeah, streamline health.
You're so much into health.
Yep.
You have, I mean, you're almost finishing books.
No,
So
I have
now
not gone back to the PhD, so I'm not a doctor.
Okay, I thought
Yep.
now we would at least fetch an ICT doctor kind of a
No,
title,
not yet,
because
not
you're
yet.
really innovating for health. But yeah, that was on a lighter note. We are still pushing you who has the dream of later becoming that entrepreneur. Name them. Last time we had Comrade Barrier here, Mr. Barrier Hardware. We had Sam, your namesake, he owns Olive Pharmacy. We have talked to Bitature, we have talked to all these people on AYIT TV. Those are the guys, perhaps the dream you really think or dream about, the people perhaps you may need to get to be like. Well, we talked about at least the start of that and what you may need to do, shared very loud and clear. But we need to move fast forward now to this dream that I'm really dreaming. In the language of a Christian, the heaven that I want. What I know is that the Bible will tell me that, please, if you need heaven, please don't murder people. Be good to people, don't lie. Yeah, adultery is another big problem. It's quite a number of commandments and the traits that they tell us in case you need to go to heaven. For this dream, the heaven of entrepreneurship, first of all, is it like the heaven we know? Is it, once I'm there, is it like that bed of roses? but then before that, we could first talk about the traits I need to actually leave behind.
The traits, the skills that you need to be an entrepreneur. You're taking me to the competence part, which I already talked about. So, yeah, number one, we have to, I always ask this question: what skills you need to be an entrepreneur? And I get very many answers. You want to give me some answers you always get? What skills you need to be an entrepreneur?
Well, most of them are going to say innovative.
To be innovative.
Yeah, they're going to list, well, quite a number of them.
People tell me critical thinking.
Yes,
people tell me whatever. Strive says the skills you need actually. Strive Masiwa of Econet, the Zimbabwean billionaire, says number one, you need to know how to count. You need to really be good with numbers and finances. What he's trying to say, you have to be able to make meaning out of finances. Is that clear? You need to educate yourself on the language of business, profits, loss, balance sheets, net worth. You need to educate yourself generally, so that if you read statements of of what's happening in your business, you can quickly understand. When you read through cash flow statements, you know what is happening. So that's one of the skills you need. But even before you go to that, you need to be a good fundraiser. You need to know how to raise money, because you need money, and in this new era where there is lots of opportunities to get money, you can raise money from loans, you can raise money from your friends, family, and fools. You can raise money from investors, angels. You can raise all these kinds of things. You need to educate yourself about fundraising. How do you fundraise? And usually when we begin fundraising, talk about pitching. How do you pitch? Do you know how to pitch to raise money? So fundraising, most entrepreneurs spend a lot of their time in fundraising. You need to do fundraising. You need to be able to analyze your business, knowing how to do the math and accounting. And then 3, you need to know much about people. You need to be a good people's person. Remember, an entrepreneur is not a manager, really. Most entrepreneurs are not actually good at management. I don't know if you know the difference between those two. Entrepreneurs hire managers to run their businesses. Most of our entrepreneurs do. You'll find yourself doing both entrepreneurship and management, which is a lot of work. But the real entrepreneurs, the people you would call entrepreneurs, like Richard Branson, he runs 300 plus companies because he knows how to identify the opportunity. Remember what we said about the entrepreneur? Yes, he can identify an opportunity, he can mobilize the resources and assume the risks of the business. He doesn't say the entrepreneur is the one who manages people. An entrepreneur is not a business manager. He's a person who knows how to spot opportunities, mobilize what is needed to create a business. You get? So you need to be a very good fundraiser, be very good with people. You know how to identify these managers that are going to run your business, these people that you're going to work with, again the partners that you're going to work with. You're going to need to know how to mobilize all these resources, team, partnerships, suppliers. That's all you need to be working around. How do you get MOUs from all these companies and mobilize those resources? I think if you have those very 3 skills, I don't know which one I've forgotten, but if you have those 3 skills, I think you're on the journey. If you can analyze the monies and know what they mean and the numbers, if you are good at fundraising, storytelling, pitching, and if you can be very good at working with teams, at relating your mission to them, getting them to join your bandwagon, your idea, hiring these very good people, then you're good to go. Yeah, that's what you need. Yeah.
Let's look at those that I have, the traits that I have that might limit me from living the other dream.
The skills that you have that may limit you from being an entrepreneur. Yeah, number 1 is indecision. My MBA teacher used to tell us that go and make decisions. Go and make decisions. You get, most people take so long to make decisions. You are better off making a wrong decision and correcting later than taking no decision at all. So for most people, they take so long to make decisions. So you need to be very quick at making decisions and being very able to respond depending on what happens with those decisions. So indecision is a very big problem. You need to be sold to the idea of learning continuously. Remember, whatever you think that you know before you start a business is what we call a hypothesis. It's not validated. You will learn along the journey. So you need to be a very good learner, someone who takes your notes. I like to write down what I have learned. I like the spirit of reflection. I usually spend my time quiet and reflecting, looking at deals, how they have gone, and what I have learned, what I want to do again, what I will improve. So I try so much to learn. You need to be continuously learning. Then you need to be continuously improving. This is the very big challenge that we have with our people. They say there are 3 types of people. There are quitters. These are people who start a venture, and when they encounter the smallest challenge, they quit. Those are quitters. Very many. Start a business venture, any challenge, you quit. Those are quitters. They are campers. Campers are people who start a venture, achieve a little success, and then they camp out. It's an analogy from climbing a mountain. You have people who see the mountain and they fear, they don't even start, or they start a little bit. When they meet the biggest hustle, any big challenge, they quit. Then they are campers. They go very far, but when they get a few successes, they become comfortable, they become happy, and they camp out. They stay there. They never reach the top of the mountain. And then there's another category whom we call the climbers, who keep climbing, looking for new challenges and keep trying. So it's that grit, it's that desire to always do more that keeps you moving. So we have to keep at it, keep improving. What you know today will change tomorrow. What the customer needed today, they will need something different tomorrow. So you keep reinventing yourself. Keep reinventing yourself. Keep alert. Don't take anything for granted, and don't camp out. Keep moving there. So I think if you have the spirit of quitting, the spirit of camping out, then it may be very difficult. If you don't like to learn so much and reflect and learn from your mistakes, it may be very difficult. If you don't like to take quick decisions, it may be very difficult. And if you're not good with people, it will be very, very difficult to do entrepreneurship, because you have to convince people to join your vision, and you have to be able to treat them very nicely and know how to sell yourself out to these very many people.
Well, so you heard it, and very loud and clear, very, very to the, straight to the point. And I want to believe you who has been dreaming of starting a business. We are quite many, by the way.
Yep.
Myself fall under the category. So we got a lot to learn from this talk. Now, Comrade Sam, we might actually not go beyond this because of time.
Yep.
But I want to say it's been a very, very important one. I'm so sure there are people dropping comments here. We should be able to answer any of the questions that you drop in this comment in our next episode. That is what we are supposed to start with, in the interest of time, at least. Only in case you have just like one final line for the lady and gentlemen that have been actually watching.
Yeah, I'll just say that entrepreneurship is really very nice because of the benefits that we talked about. You need to check your attitude if you have the right mentality. You need to keep checking if you have the skills, the competence to do the business, and you have to know how to execute. Those three pieces really are very, very key, and I hope that in the next episodes I'll keep unpacking the competence bits and the execution bits that most of entrepreneurs fail at. Thank you very much, and I hope to see this one.
Okay, thank you very much. Now the next episodes, trust me, we are bringing action-packed. We are going to be having where to write even. We're going to have experiences where you actually interact with us. It is not going to be just the talk that you may actually have been used to. We are getting practical into this game, and we believe that the Startup Talk is going to be your next MBA class, because this is who we are, and this is what we're supposed actually to get to you. Thank you very much. Till next episode, I am Sankara Baruhanga, and this is the Startup Talk, sponsored and supported by AYIT, Empower Youth in Technology. We have now to unveil to you another big partner, and Comrade Sam called that the Climbers. This is going to be another next, is it going to be accelerator kind of?
We'll see. We'll have our first cohort in April.
Yes.
So I will be letting you know how it will run. Yeah.
Okay. So the Climbers is another big thing that is going to be happening to startups, and we are glad that this partnership starts with this farm foundation. We are coming to you live from the university in very, very cool gardens. I keep telling you, in case you actually have an event, these guys are the best at that. At the center of Mbarara, we are only located opposite Acacia Hotel, right after Mbarara University of Science and Technology. The place is very, very cool, and in case you have any event, I'm saying any event, then this is going to be your place. Thank you very much. Till next time, the Startup Talk.
You're watching a Hit TV, empowering you.